everyone, and welcome back as always. We're back again.
Hi.
So, fun surprise today, we're going to be watching Hook.
Hook.
I need a hook.
Fantastic.
We have been talking about this movie for a long time. We've wanted to watch it together. You guys have not seen it. I saw this when I was a kid. And yeah, so you know, Kim, because you always bring that up, that you know Dustin Hoffman's in it. And you did mention recently that Julia Roberts is also in it.
Oh, yes.
So I know you haven't seen it, but I don't know if your daughter saw parts of it or something.
Yeah, I think she did.
Yeah, maybe you just recognize the actors in it. But yeah, so I think this will be a whole lot of fun.
And Robin's in it.
Robin Williams.
Yes, Robin Williams is in it. And we also talked about it before, but Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Dante Bosco, he's in this. And of course a lot younger too. I mean, his voice always sounds the same, and I love his voice as Zuko. And now it's General Iroh on Korra.
Oh wow! Yes.
Yeah, so this is in 1991, so a while ago.
So the original Peter Pan.
Yes, I'm actually wearing that shirt that Tom and Heather bought me. I think they got this in Disney World. I could be wrong.
Nice.
Pizza Pond.
Pizza
we keep lifting up, and then we have Wendy and the boys. So that was a cute movie. We really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure how you guys were going to like it or not. I really love that fairy tale.
Really
Hook was hilarious.
Yes. Oh, Hook's me. And then the crocodile.
Oh, yes.
That was great. And I remember when we were talking about that movie, you guys were like, wow, it was actually a lot better than you thought it would be. And you heard some things about Peter Pan, but you never really knew the story because you've never watched it before. Kim, you were asking actually a lot to watch Peter Pan at one point. Peter Pan is a boy who doesn't grow up, and he lives in Neverland. Second star to the right. And he can fly. He has a friend who's a pixie, and that is Tinkerbell.
Julia.
We know Wendy and her brothers.
And their father was a little stern.
Yes. And the father resembled Hook. Remember, it was the same voice or something?
Yes, he did.
And they kind of look similar, kind of. Not really. He was broader and everything and a strong jaw. But the voices were the same there. So that was very interesting how the father, he's a good father, but he's very stern and scary.
Yes,
and
he
so
is
they related that to Hook.
Yeah.
You know, and even though Hook is a separate character and this world is real, like, is it really real? I don't know. Is it all just fantasy? Because kids have great imagination, so who knows?
That's true.
Yeah. So that's what's fun about it. And Wendy knew she had to grow up. She wanted to grow up, but she had a great time, and she really cared for Peter Pan, and she had like a big crush on him and stuff. But him in Neverland, like, he's a big deal, and he's still a boy. She was more mature. Yeah, and he wasn't. So he didn't get the whole flirting thing. He just liked the attention. But he wanted to stay a kid, and Wendy knew that he wasn't going to change, and she was ready to grow up, and I guess maybe her siblings too. Gotta grow up sometime, right? Can you imagine just staying a kid forever?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's a cool fantasy because to not worry about major responsibilities and just having fun, treasure hunts. I mean, pirates killing you here and there. All these dangers, you know. I think we should get into this, ladies. What do you think? And we'll talk after?
I love it.
Yes.
Toodles.
It's snowing!
That's good manners.
That's Dad.
Oh, he's choking on a gum.
Lost. I've lost my marbles.
Looks familiar.
Yeah.
The window.
The window shut. Oh, convenient latch.
You see how he was standing?
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da.
Whoops. Whoa.
Peter, don't you know who you are?
He's standing the same.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Whoops.
Firefly from hell.
Tinkerbell.
Oh.
Second star to the right, straight out till morning.
She's so strong.
Oh my God.
The couple.
Oh my God.
They're floating.
Good morning, Neverland!
That almost sounds like when Robin Williams. Good morning, Vietnam.
Captain James Howe!
There it comes.
The puling spawn, how I despise it.
I love it.
Yeah. Aww.
Those are my kids! Those are my kids! Pick up your weapon. All right.
That's it.
Oh!
Well, guess not.
Guess he doesn't want money.
Shot that guy.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh. Ooh.
Come on, Tank, do something.
1 week and I'll get him in shape.
3 and over. And you better deliver this bell. No,
Okay.
Shaking at it.
bring you back from where I will send.
Ooh, isn't good.
Oh,
Uh-oh. The mermaids.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, don't wake him up.
love the hair
Hope
too.
Maura's not looking. Good thing your kids aren't seeing that. I'm telling mommy.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
Okay, mister. Now, all right, show's over now. You put that thing away. Kill the lawyer! That kind of lawyer.
Lawyer.
Do you hear Zuko's
Does
voice?
that Zuko?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are, Peter.
Aww. That should be my song.
Mine too. Oh,
Oh, his pants.
It's a big slingshot. Whoop away.
Horsey's birthday. His nipples.
That's a happy thought.
Everybody say grace.
Bless this, O Lord.
That's it.
Aww, they have nothing.
Oh my goodness.
Always like, want that.
Oh my goodness. Look at his cheeks. He's got so much on there, but he doesn't.
Eat your heart out, you crinkled, wrinkled, fat hag, fart sniffing, bubble butt.
Someone has a severe caca mouth. Do you know that?
You are a
Caca mouth.
factory.
Ew.
Slime.
You lewd, crude, rude bag of pre-chewed food, dude.
He's getting it now.
Why don't you just go suck on a dead dog's nose?
Yeah.
Oh,
Look at the feast now.
oh, look at all the food.
Oh.
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 Yes, please. Oh.
I always wanted a big
Oh,
food fight.
jeez.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Uh-oh. He's gonna throw the hard coconut. Cut it.
He's gonna cut his. Gonna slice it in two. Yep.
Wow.
How could you know Toodles?
He was a lost boy. These are his marbles.
He really did lose his marbles, didn't he?
Yeah, give him his marbles. Yeah.
He lost him good.
Yes.
What is it? I hear it.
He doesn't hurt himself
Funny.
tonight.
It's that crocodile.
Oh.
There's so much. Why don't you do that?
Smash every cup we find.
Oh, goodness. These boys.
I need my book. This is for all the games your daddy missed. Book.
Aw,
Never
that's
miss your
something.
game, son.
He's stealing second.
Oh my god! Oh.
Pretty harsh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa, wait.
What the-
Aw. My boy, I can.
Gotta fly.
Oh, God.
Perfect hit.
Maybe now I can fly.
Knocked it into him.
Jack, I know why I came back. I know why I grew up. I'm a daddy.
Not afraid of heights anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah! Lightweight.
Oh, shit.
It's a cool idea.
Guess who's back?
Yes, he is.
Just gotta fight all those guys and then
He's epic. Woohoo!
Hey, hey.
The chicken on top.
Whoa.
the yoke's on you.
Whoa.
Ooh. That poor kid.
Come on, Rufio. Ooh, come on. You gotta have something in your back pocket. Nice. Oh no! No.
Oh.
I wish I had a dad like you.
Oh.
Oh.
Mhm.
Go in the water. Go get a crock.
My God.
Ooh, honey.
I believe in you.
Oh, it's so cute. You said,
I believe in you, Peter.
Tinkerbell. There's another crocodile gonna get him.
Tick tock, tick tock.
You're gonna get sucked up in a big clock.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew it. I said, I bet you that crocodile was gonna get him.
for ya.
Some kind of crocodile. He's gonna get
Oh,
you.
the mouth.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh.
Oh boy. Aw.
I think these belong to you.
Look! See, look! I did that after all.
That's adorable.
Oh, I think I know where he's going.
Oh, I wonder.
Oh, look at him. Woohoo!
Look at him,
Yes,
he's
Steven
really-
Spielberg.
What the?
Second star to the right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, that was
Oh,
awesome.
they keep the star lit in the credits. That's cute.
Yes.
So I'm really curious on what you guys think.
Oh, that was awesome.
Oh, it was
That was really
spectacular.
good. Yeah, it's really
Spectacular.
good. I'm glad we watched it.
I love
Yeah.
all the characters, the
Oh
Lost
my
Boy.
gosh, yes.
Hook. I mean,
Yeah,
for
very
as
good.
silly and as, nonsensical as he was
Yeah.
pretty evil every step
He
of the
was.
way. Every time they gave him a pass to leave
That's
him
right.
alone, nope, he just went
Yeah.
right back to him. Had to kill
That's
him
right,
again,
my God.
poor Peter.
That's always how it's been. Like, they've always fought each other. It's like
That's
the island
right.
is only so big and they have so many people there, but that was his obsession. Like, he couldn't get over. Like, after, I guess, it started with Peter taking his hand, and ever since, he needed his revenge, and he couldn't let that go. So he was just obsessed, and I love how they kept that focus, because even in the Disney one that we saw, like, he was so obsessed with him, and all he wanted was to find a way to kill him. But they kept that same humor, I felt like, too, with Smee and Hook,
Oh, yeah. He
That's
was
right.
the same kind of character all the way through.
Oh, my gosh,
he was
that's
always
good.
like for Hook, but he was always like taking whatever he could.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
The moment, whether it be a glass of wine or food or
treasures
Jewels
or toys, yeah.
And they were so close, and he was always like his maid, or just the person that was always there, like his second hand man or whatever, his
That's right,
first
yeah.
mate, you know. But he always did everything for him, so they were always very close. And Hook is so violent with everyone, and even though he kind of beats up on Smee, it's kind of like a caring relationship
Yeah.
to a certain extent, or just an understanding relationship.
Oh yeah, he's
So it was just
trying to
funny.
kill himself.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is it. This is it.
That's right.
And I love it because they're both so smart compared to the other pirates, and yet
Yeah.
they're so like airheaded at the same time, because they use big words and then they get all childish because they didn't have
That's right, yeah.
parents. I guess they've been pirates forever, so they get really
Right.
immature at certain moments, and so
my
he's like,
gosh,
"Don't
yeah.
try to stop me, Smee. Don't try to stop me. Don't you dare try to stop me." And Smee's just
That's
like.
right.
It's like whatever he's saying, he's like, okay. It's like going with emotions, and he's like, try to stop me. No, try to stop me. Gotta stop it. So I love that, how they go back and
Yeah.
forth. But Smee did save him a few times, and I have to say, I really love the sets in this. Like, that was just amazing, and how
amazing.
grand they
Yes,
were.
yes.
Ships. They
Yeah.
were
Gosh, yes.
amazing.
I love how there were multiple ships together. There were a ton of pirates. It wasn't just one ship.
Oh,
And the
that's
same thing
right.
with the Lost
Oh my
Boys.
God.
It wasn't just like however many there were, 6 or 7 from the Disney version. There was a ton of them. And
Right.
they had like
Yeah.
similar ones. And I think Toodles was a skunk from the Disney one. I'm not sure. But then they still had the
Okay.
twins, but they weren't the raccoons. Like no one had like
Yes.
animal outfits really. But yeah, the sets were amazing. The costumes were absolutely amazing. And the creative ideas they came up with, like the armor, and they had the armor staged how it was up on those like weird
Right,
frames.
right.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and they had like the spider webs or the webbing keeping it up,
Oh,
and they would
yes,
just
oh
walk
my
through it. I'm
God,
like,
yeah.
how much like
The
preparation
gorgeous
did that take?
helmet.
Yeah, and then they even had the hen weapon, or where they had the hen and the eggs coming through, and they would
That
just
was
shoot.
cute.
Yeah, that was great, and I just love all the different ideas. It was
Yeah.
so fun. This movie was really long, and the beginning, kind of like Jurassic Park and stuff, like the original, how long of a build-up that was.
Yes.
But it had a lot of like important parts to it that built up
Yes,
to the
yes.
main event. So I kind of had that same feeling here, where I love the nostalgia. Like, okay, well, first of all, is this real? Is it not real? Okay, yes, we know the story of Peter Pan. I don't know what you thought about it. Did you think like, oh, well, maybe they're using references about these real people that aren't the true characters? Like, did you think it was going to go to Neverland? Did you think that was real in this movie?
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was Neverland. I was kind of confused when they were pretending to eat this feast, and then I
Yeah.
realized, oh, because I'm an adult. Oh, he has to imagine.
Yes.
He has to use
Oh,
his
that's what it
imagination
was, yeah.
to game. So once he did that, he unlocked. He
Mhm.
unlocked himself. Really.
I like that
Be a
part
child
too.
again.
That was really good.
That's good,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah, because how like crazy is that to think that way? Like, yes, you want real food, and what the heck? Everyone's eating nothing. You see the steam
Right,
coming up. You
yes.
can smell the yummy food, but where the freak is it? So I
Right,
love
Oh,
that.
so excited.
Yeah, so you have to use your imagination, and yet I know they all could see it and they could eat it, but at the same time, I know we're seeing it through Peter's perspective, but I'm kind of wondering, because I think he's like the ultimate guy there, like the magical guy, so with him believing, it brought out more of the magic of
Yes,
Neverland,
it
and so
did,
that's
yeah.
why everyone was like, wow, because then everyone saw the food. So I think when they were pretending, even though they could maybe taste it, I know it was a game, but I don't think they could actually see anything. I think they actually had to
Actually,
use their imaginations.
Yes.
But once Peter started imagining, then it all became real.
Right. When
I
he threw
think.
the food and it hit the other kid.
I thought it was going to go Neverland.
Yeah, I thought it was about the
Oh,
fantasy
that
part.
one. Yes,
'Cause
yes.
I remember when I first saw this that I thought this was going to be about characters based, like just how the book was. Like you hear, like a story starts from somewhere, whether someone just makes it up completely or something that happened in their life. And I thought maybe Neverland wasn't real, but they had these characters that were based off this book, and they were real people, but they had similar things happen in their life. Like they didn't, like maybe the guy, like Peter, was a traveler. I don't know, like how he would battle someone or whatever. But I just thought it was going to be a more realistic tone. I didn't think there was an actual Neverland when I first started watching this. But then when you saw hints of it, and then you get full blown taken to Neverland, like I thought that was so cool. And how when Peter actually comes back from Neverland, and yet you still see Smee there. And I was kind of like, oh, well, so it still gives you things like where you question,
Right.
was this real? Like, did this actually
Yeah,
happen?
yeah.
And then he's talking to Tinkerbell. She's like, I'll always love you. And she's on the statue. And then all of a sudden you just see the glow and it's the sun coming up. So was she really there? Was she not really there? So it kind of makes you wonder. But we know it is real in this case because then Toodles had the pixie dust and he was sleeping in the
that's
room.
right.
And he flew to Neverland. So he's going to be the
He got
oldest
his
person there
marbles.
probably.
And he got his marbles.
Yes, he got his marbles.
That was a
He
tearjerker.
found them.
That was a tear. That got me
There
again.
was
It's been a while.
times that was I really did tear up a couple
I
times.
did
A
too,
few
yeah.
times.
I got teary-eyed too, and I just thought it was so wholesome. Like the emotions behind this was great. I love like the family aspect with Peter going through all of this. I didn't like how Peter was, like how he ended up after he grew up, because here he was selfish. He was obsessed with being successful,
Yes.
and he was a drunk, and he was very temperamental with his children, and he was
That's right,
impatient
yeah.
with his wife too, and she was very understanding with it. But it was very sad for being Peter Pan, like this epic hero, fun-loving kid, you know, and of course, like he was a great fighter and stuff. But seeing him so negative and going down this bad path, I was kind of like, oh, it's kind of
Yes, especially Wendy. Wendy was the most disappointed.
yeah.
Yes, definitely.
But I really do like it for what it is, and I was so sad about Wendy, but that was the point too, because she moved on. I think it's such a bittersweet story where he broke a lot of hearts kind of thing, but again, he was a kid. And he didn't want to grow up, and she was more
Yeah.
mature, and she wanted to grow up, you know, and he didn't realize until it was too late, and then she was a lot older at that point, and then he was like, oh crap, now I realize, you know. It's kind of awkward, and it is sweet, but for him to go to her grandchild or great-grandchild, and I'm glad that worked out, but I'm like, oh my God, if I was Wendy, I'd be like, you don't mess with my kid, and I know she kind of said that,
Yeah.
and it worked out, thank goodness, but for how he was in Neverland, I'd be like, heck no.
Yeah. I also had a feeling that the crocodile was going to get him at the end. Look.
There had,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
there had to be a crocodile somewhere.
I loved.
I said, oh my God, they finally
You were
did.
so right, Mom. I love the crocodile from the first
Oh my
movie. Yes,
yeah.
because the whole chase and the tick
That's right.
tock, tick tock, tick tock, the
That's
whole
it,
entire
yeah.
time. That was so much fun. So I'm so happy, yes, that was his ending.
That's
And
right.
he even burped like it was alive. So
Oh,
I remember
that was funny.
My
when I saw
God.
this as a kid, I remember I got so confused, and I'm like, wait a minute, how did it come back? Was it alive that whole time? Was it just hanging out there?
Yeah.
How did it eat him? It's not moving now. Like I remember I was like, what? But it was just the magic behind it. It was just a good ending. So his last meal.
Absolutely bonkers with all those bugs going on.
Even his
Oh my
mustache,
gosh,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It would tick,
Oh,
tick,
Oh, yes.
tick, tick.
Oh, yeah.
I think they did that in the cartoon too. Remember, it was like tick tock,
Yeah,
tick tock, every time we heard it. And I don't recall if that was in the Disney version, because that was the only other version we can compare to that we saw.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the Neverland thing, like forgetting, was a thing, but in this movie it was. So when you're in Neverland too long, only what's around you remember. You don't remember anything from the real world. And then vice versa. Like if you're in the real world too long, you don't remember what happened in Neverland. So that's
Yeah.
also sad too. Just the ideas behind
Yes.
everything. And also with Neverland, like time stands still. So when Hook was threatening Peter, and he's like, well, if you don't fight me now, I'm going to go after your children's children. You can keep coming from Neverland and keep attacking, which is fun to hear all these different ideas. Like, holy crap, yeah, that's right. You can't just leave here and you're separated. He already kidnapped your kids.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So-
And Tinkerbell, so sweet. That
I
was
love
so
Julia
sweet.
Roberts.
Yeah.
She was great as Tinkerbell.
Great. Yeah.
Tinkerbell in the other movie, she didn't talk. She just jingled, and only Peter could understand her. The Lost Boys could understand her too, I remember. Maybe it's just like fairy talk. But in this one, she could talk, which made it a little bit easier. And I love how they kept that idea of her, like, of course, small. She's a pixie, and she glowed, and she still had the noises and everything, and had the pixie dust flying with her. She was a good friend of Peter. Like, she did love Peter, but she wasn't super jealous. Like, she was, but she wasn't very hateful.
that's
Like the
right, yeah.
Disney Tinkerbell, like,
Yeah, the
she was
Disney one,
bad.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
it's really.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know you guys were shocked, I think, from the first movie.
I
You were like,
was.
wow, like
Yes,
she's
my
trying to
goodness.
kill Wendy. She tried to kill her
Wow,
many
she-
times. Like, that was nuts. And I guess fairies, because they're so small, they could only have one emotion at a time or something. So that's like the whole idea of it. She was a lot more open-minded in this, which I enjoyed.
Yes.
Did you guys like Robin Williams as Peter? As Peter
Yes.
Pan?
Oh, I loved
did,
it.
yes.
I loved it. I was kind of
Sure, I always
like,
loved-
I was sad to see him how his character was in the beginning, because I'm so used to him being so funny and so. But he was
Yes,
really.
right.
I mean, he's a fantastic actor. So he
Yeah,
was playing the
definitely.
role
Yeah.
of, someone who was absorbed with, success and drinking
right.
and just himself and not paying attention to his family. He was the perfect actor for that character. I mean,
That's right.
I agree. Because again, like we discussed before, like being able to do multiple roles, it's an amazing thing. Like that's a talent right there. Because sometimes characters, unfortunately, or actors are unfortunately labeled a certain way because if they can only do like an evil role, like they're known for their evilness, and vice versa, like a comedian or whatever, like they're only known for their comedy, and sometimes it's hard to switch off. I think Robin Williams is like really good at that. He's really good at doing like all kinds of roles, and I did like him as Peter Pan. I love him as an actor. And again, I know we said that before. I was really sad. I hate how he died, and he died on my birthday, and I mentioned that before. But yeah, so I was really sad. But I loved him growing up so much. I kind of went back and forth a few times with him being Peter Pan because I just couldn't see it. But then when they gave him the outfit and they kind of gave him the whimsical hair, it was like fluffy and stuff. Like I'm like, all right, and I could see it after that. And they did just such a good job with filming this that I thought it was fun. You know, some parts lagged a little bit. It just took so long to get somewhere, and then I felt like, wow, how long is this movie? But then it would pick up again. I love the idea of think of a happy thought, pixie dust, you can fly.
Exactly.
Did you guys notice that Peter's ears got sharper?
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't know this.
I wanted to like say something, but they kept talking, and sometimes I cut myself off because I don't want to talk over someone else talking, and you guys missed something. But his ears got pointier, and then they got really pointy when he was Peter Pan again. So I know he's human, but it kind of makes you think because in the Disney version we thought that or you guys were saying that you thought he might be some kind of fairy or some kind of elf. I feel like there's more there with that character, but I think that's the whole mystery with Peter Pan because in this story they established that more where yes, he was human, he got lost, he was in his carriage and rolled away, and then Tink brought him to Neverland. And I love how young he is, and he's discussing that he didn't want to grow up, so he ran away. But I'm like, yeah, you were kind of too young to make those decisions. If you were a toddler or something, but a baby doesn't really think that complicated, that complex. So, but I do like that idea, and I know he was a lost boy and he ran away, but I wish they did him a little older. Like a toddler instead. Time doesn't pass in Neverland, so how many times did he visit the real world to age?
That's right.
Because so you would think that would be way far. Anyways, I'm really happy we watched this. Do you have any favorite characters?
I loved Hook. I love Smeed.
Yes.
I mean, besides not Peter, but
Peter.
And the girl, the daughter, Maggie, she was
adorable. The kids were great.
Oh my God.
The kids were great. And I love Jack, and he was so upset at his dad, and I didn't like how fresh he was in the beginning, but I can understand he's a kid, and his dad keeps screwing things up. Like, he keeps making promises and blowing him off completely, and I'm like, oh my God, this kid's doing all these major things in his young life, and totally breaking his promises and stuff. Like, I don't blame him for being upset. But certain things like banging on the airplane window, I mean, it was way back when now, but I'm like, yeah, you can't get away with stuff like that. I don't think so. I get that he was so upset, and I love how Hook, it was Smee's idea, but I love how Hook actually tried to convince Jack that, oh, I'll be your dad, like I'm the better version of your dad, and then he would just forget and started to lean more towards Hook. So I love that idea because what a great way to get to Peter. He's always trying to find a good way to really dig it in deep, to really get to Peter. Even like last time with Wendy, Peter got a present from Wendy that was an actual bomb. So he likes to really dig in deep to try to mess with him, and that's what he's about. He's conniving.
Which is really brilliant because how did he know about the whole baseball game, and how did he know?
That's right.
You know, so it is kind of like meshing into the real world where Peter didn't go to Jack's game, and how did Hook know that?
Yeah.
And then he had this game of a lifetime where Jack was perfect at it, and he had everyone rooting for him.
They were smashing up the clocks. That's when Jack was saying all that stuff, and he's like, "We're never going to a game with me." And I think that's where he got it from. I think so. But so
I'm gonna make the best game for him.
I think he asked Jack, like, how do you do this game? Although it was very detailed. He really did a good job remembering all the details. I love it when the Pirates were playing, how they're following the rules, but when that one guy was stealing second or whatever and he just shoots him, and then Hook is like, bad form. bad for. I just love how calm it is because they're pirates, so they just kill people, whatever. Or when Hook gets annoyed and he like shoots the checkbook, the Peter's checkbook, and kills the guy behind him, and it's just like, it is what it is. But it shows you pirates are violent and they don't really care about anyone else but themselves. And
that's right.
Again, it was a lot of fun. Like, it's violent, but it was funny at the same time. And I love Dustin Hoffman. I thought he was so great as Hook.
Fantastic. He was fantastic.
So fantastic. And I always loved.
His great. His teeth were great.
Oh, I know. Just like that.
Yes.
What was it? Where I just love to smile. But yeah, so I think Dustin Hoffman was the most entertaining, and there are a lot of great actors in this, but he was such a great actor. Peter Pan, I've always loved, because growing up, I just loved Peter Pan. But honestly,
Tinkerbell too.
And I love Julia Roberts. I love Tinkerbell, but Julia Roberts I loved growing up too.
Yes.
And Dustin Hoffman, though, as Hook, totally my favorite.
He was perfect for that
Yeah.
one.
I love Rufio. I thought he was great too, and he plays Zuko.
That's another
That was so sad. Yeah, that's Dante Basco, and that was so sad in how he died. Looky, I got hooky. I remember that line, and I almost said it before. I'm like, don't say it. But it's such a sad scene. Did you know that was going to happen?
I don't think so, no.
It happened so quick too, because he had the upper hand, and he knocked him down.
He was just going to push him off the side or something like that, and then go back to Peter. But that was just so sad.
It was so evil too, and how that was staged. Hook was coaxing Rufio in, saying Rufio, like, and it was so like his face and the way he was saying it, and you could see how Rufio turned around, that he was just like so enjoying it. He's like, oh, I'll come into this. I don't have a problem with that. So that was like a weakness too, where he just wanted to fight him. Such a really sad moment, touching moment in a way, was when Peter was holding Rufio, and he's like, I wish I had a dad like you, and that's when Jack remembered everything. So
and it really came to fruition when, prior to that, he gave him the sword, so he already accepted him. So it made sense for him to say, I wish I had a father like you, because he already accepted him. Everyone, all the other Lost Boys did, but it really needed for him to do that, and he did. So it was a true feeling when he died.
Yeah, it was a true feeling. Really, and a lot of you know I love Avatar The Last Airbender, and I just kept hearing Zuko the whole time, and I'm like, oh my God. And and you've never seen the actual actor before.
Talk more.
Yeah, so a few times I'm like, oh my God, like his voice never changed. It totally sounds the same as it did, And when I first saw this, Rufio, I was like kind of intimidated by him, because I'm like, wow, what a bully. Like, really, this is how you handle like new people? But there's only kids and then pirates, like kids and adults, and all adults are pirates, like you said. So, they're very hostile towards
his
them.
Guys, and
and they're kids too, so they can get fresh to each other, and they're wild kids, so that's just how they are. And even like playing games and throwing balls and bashing their heads against balls and stuff, and just taunting him the whole way, like that's just how they are. So it's kind of neat to see Peter actually turn back into that and have fun with them back like the good old days. So I thought that was kind of fun to see it. After a while, I really started to like Rufio again. Like, I thought he was such a good character, and I love how they teamed up. There wasn't any hassle after Peter was Peter Pan again, and he landed, and Rufio proudly walked at him, then just knelt down and gave him the sword. Like, I thought that was great.
That was fantastic. I like the way they were helping Peter get into form. I loved that song, that exercise song.
Oh, it was so insulting. It was so funny. How long have you looked at those?
I want to listen to it again.
I know, and I'm thinking 3 days. Like, how the heck is he going to get fit in 3 days? He's just going to be so exhausted. His muscles are going to be in so much pain. It looks like he lost a lot of weight, too. A little bit, at least. So I know if there's a lot more time in between, especially then, too. So I'm sure he lost a lot of weight in between takes and stuff. But, yeah, like, I thought that was kind of interesting to see that. Because before, and again, like, not comparing, because I know I gained weight, but like here you can see how he really gained weight. And then when he's Peter Pan, I'm like, wow, he really looks like he lost a lot of weight with that outfit, unless it was just how the outfit was made to make him look better. But I truly think he lost weight.
It must have been months afterward or something.
And I have to say, I love seeing Wendy's actress. She was from Harry Potter. So you recognized her first, Kim, and I forgot that was her.
She has
Yeah, I love her. My heart warms when I see her. She's such a, like, she's a sweet lady. And I forgot she played Wendy again. I haven't seen this since I was a kid. And I was like, oh my God, like, she's playing this role. That's so awesome. I love the idea of Wendy. She's always so proper. And for everything that she did for all these lost boys, like, she adopted lost boys.
Oh, that was another Carrie scene when she was, you know,
all the people stood.
My God,
that was fantastic when she was being honored for the foundation.
Yeah.
That was fantastic scene.
That was beautifully done, So it shows how
Peter actually found out that, wow, you know, he finally realized, wow, she's done so much for so many people.
Even with him too, because I think, you know, I don't know if she like full on adopted him, but like she adopted so many people, you know, and I think he was part of that. Yeah, so I really like that. It's so sad, though, again, because the whole, like, original story I really enjoyed. But I love that idea, though, where it's tragic, where he lost the love of his life because he was a child and didn't really understand the gravity of it until it was too late. And then that's when he's like, okay, I'm ready to move on. So I'm glad that he was happy at the end. But even Tinkerbell, like, she's like, I'll always love you in that dream world or in between worlds. That's where I'll be for you. But, like, she couldn't have him either. So
it's very interesting. Even the mermaids on the side, like, he
he had
all the angles, boy.
How funny was that? I know. Like, okay, well, let me give you ear over here, here, and here. And I love the brightly colored hair and everything. But just like the ones before, but they were violent. But they loved Peter. But yeah, in this case, they loved Peter. We didn't see them interact with any ladies, so besides themselves. But yeah, like, they saved his life by breathing into him. What a good way to breathe into someone that you really like. Like, don't tell Moira.
That's right.
And I really like Moira, and I don't know if you caught that or not, but Wendy's full name when she introduced herself to Peter was Wendy Moira Angela Darling. And
I didn't hear the Moira part.
She might have mentioned in this movie. I think she did once, but it was hard to catch. Yeah, it was hard to catch. And in the animated movie too, in Disney, like, she also said it there. And it just stuck out to me again because I've seen this before. And I was like, oh wow, like, that's her middle name. That's what her grandchild's named after. So it's just sweet,
That's cool.
When everyone was celebrating Wendy for what she's done, everything happened at once with all the magic starting to happen. When the gust of wind came in and Wendy almost passed out, it was crazy how everyone kind of felt that evil or the magic from Neverland or something ominous is going on. And when they actually go back to the house and they're kind of smiling,
they were like,
and then they start frowning, and then all of a sudden you see everything broken into and just the hook getting dragged. And it was funny, but that's the whole point too, where it didn't make sense how, yes, he used the hook and he cut through the wall, and yet he cut through the picture, yet the picture wasn't moved at all. Like, the hook was so sharp. And then he even cut through the lamps that were on the wall, but the shades were the same. Like, they didn't move. You just saw the line through it. But I think it was just supposed to be, like, humorous too. I don't know. I just felt like it was intentional to be like that. But I was like, wow, that picture would be slanted. Like, at least one half would be. Then the shades would be at least off or something. To perfectly cut through. But I love that scene in the build-up with the music. The music was fantastic. And with the sword in the door and, you know, just with the note, the ransom note. Like,
right. And they knew that it was him. They didn't even bother calling the police. They just, you know, it wasn't like a realistic scene. They knew who it was.
Wendy knew who it was, and Peter was in complete denial. You know, he just didn't believe it at all. So how crazy is that he forgot? Like, he just totally forgot everything to that degree.
You just get buried in your own life.
That's right.
But everything worked out at the end, so I'm happy about that. And the kids, and he's really good with his kids, and the kids love him, and they've always loved him, but now he's actually giving them attention.
Maybe
he's back to his actual self.
Maybe they'll just move to London, just stay there.
Yeah, because maybe the Lost Boys will go visit at some point. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? The hook is all gone.
The hook is all gone.
Thank goodness.
Meet somewhere in the ocean somewhere with all the animals.
I know, because I'm really curious. Like, was that Smee? I don't think that was Smee in the real world. I was kind of like, I think they were just messing with us to see, like, okay, did this actually happen or not? But unless he actually did, like, hightail it out of there, and he ended up just in the real world, because originally he was there anyways. What a movie. I'm so happy we watched this. It's been so long.
Awesome, yes.
So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you very soon as always. Bye, guys!
Bye.
Thumbs up.